a mentor in the Indigenous community, an inspiration, and an all-round bloody great guy, who also happens to be the #1 ranked fighter in Australia and New Zealand, and has won multiple titles in the UAE. Today we chatted up with Josh TogoL. We go deep on the mentality of a winner, the obsession, the focus, the drive, the passion, the love for the game. But we also go on the other side, the mental health, the connecting with the right people, the rock top moments, and surrounding yourself with the right environments. If you're someone who wants to go to that level and wants to be with the right people, this is a conversation worth listening to. If you had to choose one trait, one thing that you can attribute your success to with all this, what would it be?
Just not giving up, and just believing in myself and pushing myself. And just look, when I first started this sport, I started out boxing when I was a teenager. Then I transitioned into kickboxing and wrestling. And then I just thought to myself, I wanted to start doing MMA. So I started doing MMA, right? And then when I first started fighting professionally, you're starting at the bottom of the ranks, right? You're whatever the lowest ranking is. So you have to keep fighting. You're basically fighting every person possible to push to #1. So not only that, not just fighting every person possible, but fighting the top tier guys as well. So in that sense, I had to do that. I had to keep believing in myself. I had to keep pushing. I had to keep training. And I was just mentally prepared and focused for every battle that I was looking to face. So by the time we got to #1, that's where it stands. That's where it stays. That's where I want it. Yeah. So the one trait I could say is just to continuously believe in myself and to never give up. There's always going to be people out there that doubt you and want the worst for you. They want to see you struggle. They want to see you fall. But that's the society we live in today. No one ever wants to see you climb to the top. No one ever wants to see people succeed. Only your friends and family want to see you succeed. Everyone else just wants to see you fall, see you fail. But you got to just push all that. You got to block that out. You got to push that aside, and you just got to do it for yourself and do it for your friends and family. They're your main supporters. They're the ones that are going to back you no matter what. Yeah. Constantly believing in yourself is what will get you to the top.
Not quitting.
Not quitting too.
Not quitting.
Look, I've faced a lot of hurdles as well. There was a period where I lost 3 fights back to back. Right? That could have went pear-shaped. That I could have given up on myself, and I could have just thrown it all away and just said, "F this. I don't want this anymore." But in a situation like that, just back to the drawing board. I got to think about what I'm doing wrong and start training more efficiently and start getting into war, start getting into battle and mentally preparing myself. After those 3 losses, it was my third last loss, I should say. I went away and I met a guy and this one guy was mentally in my head every single day, just telling me, when you have a fight, I want you to tell yourself every single second of the day what you're going to do to this guy, right? He goes, I want you to write that shit down on your mirrors. I want you to write that shit down on your books, in your hands, whatever. He goes, I want you to vision that every second of the day. And people tell you, you got to do it do it before you go to bed and tell yourself what you're going to do, whatever. But he was saying every second of the day, right? And I thought it was funny, but I was doing it, and I was like, you know what? He's actually right. So I went away, Yeah, and every time into my my next fight, the one after my loss, into that fight when I went to go to win. But prior to that, yeah, I was just telling myself like what I'm gonna do this guy and how I'm gonna win. I was just visioning every single aspect of the game, how it's gonna go and stuff. And yeah, since then it's just mentally preparing myself for battle, mentally preparing myself for war. And yeah, ever since that, it's just been sticking with me. And just, yeah, you have to have some kind of sick, twisted vision of the fight in your head. And just, because, yeah, when you go into a fight, people get nervous and they get worried and they get anxious and they're still trying to figure out, if they're ready for this, a fight or flight response. But in my head, I'm just thinking, I'm going to go out there and murder this guy. I'm going to go kill him.
Yeah.
Like, that's what goes in my head.
Yeah.
Sorry to say that, but yeah, that's a fight game. Like I said, we're ready for war. This ain't a sport. You're going out there to survive. This ain't just a weekend sport where you're playing football and if you lose, it's okay. We'll come back next weekend. This is people's lives and careers on the line. So what I mean by that is you're going in there with every aspect of the game, every opportunity of the fight. You're going in there in your head. You have to be sick and twisted in the head to go out there and tell yourself what you're going to do this guy.
There are,
like I said, it's just real life. This ain't no sport.
Yeah. It applies to almost every industry where the most successful, the people who tend to achieve the most in that area are the ones who are the most focused, are the most obsessed towards reaching that goal. And I can only assume in fighting, that goal is to get the knockout or to get the win. In your fighting career, how much of that focus do you try to implement in your daily life?
Look, I keep a really strict routine with my training, with my schedule, even with my work. I'm up early hours in the morning for work. After work, I'm training. After training, I'm eating right. After I'm eating right, I'm resting. Rest is most important as well. It's crucial to this sport because if you're not resting, you're not going to recover. And if you ain't recovering, you're going to just have more injuries, more failures. So, yeah, after I'm resting, I'm back at training. I'm training twice a day. As well as working 8 hours of the day as well. And I'm doing that 7 days a week. Sunday is more of my rest day, but I'm still training. Yeah, but it's this is the life I chose. This is what I want to do. I do look at myself getting older as well, but my strength and conditioning coach, he told me, and I took this in, and I never really thought of it until he actually told me. He said, because he goes, "Oh, how old are you?" I told you. I go, "Look, I'm 32." I go, "I'm getting older, and I just feel like it's my body's failing, things like that." He goes, "Nah, bro, trust me, you're alright." He goes, "Your age is just a number. Your body age is different." He goes, "Because you're training constantly and you're looking after yourself and you're eating so well and you're eating good and all that type of stuff, your body age is probably around 24, 25. He goes, "Your real age is 32. He goes, and then, when he said that, it made me realize, you know what, he's probably right. So the more you're looking after yourself and the more you're eating right and the more you're just staying in a routine and you're disciplined in that routine, you're going to feel a lot more younger than you are. So, I just think routine and discipline is the key to success."
I can attest to that. When I was 17, I was clinically obese and had scoliosis and a bunch of things. And at 17, I felt like I was 50.
Were you actually obese?
Yeah.
No way. I didn't think you're obese. You don't look like you've been obese.
Ever since,
just look fit.
ever since fighting and sticking to a discipline, man, it made the biggest difference.
You have to. Yeah.
About discipline.
You know, I used to be big.
You used to be big as well.
Yeah, I used to be about 95 kgs, kilos.
Alright.
Yeah, it was pretty big. Then that's when I moved to Sydney, and I was, because back then I was just mingling with the wrong people, and I was hanging out with the wrong crowd, and I was getting caught up into drinking and drugs and all that type of stuff, and I did a lot of bad things, and I told myself I just wanted to get away, and that's when I moved to Sydney. And then when I moved to Sydney, I started to get back into training again, and then that's when all the weight fell off. But yeah, 15 kegs lighter now. So
To do all that, what drives you?
sorry,
What drives you?
I don't know. I don't know. I just the love and the passion for it. I guess I'm just passionate about the sport. I love the sport, and I just want to succeed in the sport. And I want to do it for myself, and I want to do it for my friends and my family, my partner. Yeah. There's no other way I could probably say it.
Yeah.
It even comes to a time where, because as I told you, I am getting older, but I'm still passionate and motivated as I was 6-7 years ago. I mean, even one of my good mates told me the other week, he goes, "Brother, you're number one now." He goes, "You have to work harder. Everyone's coming for you. You're not going for them." So I have to be, I have to be switched on. I can't just skip a day here and there and think to myself, "Oh, it's okay, just have a rest." Because in my head, if I think like that, then my next opponent's training just as hard as me. And he's working just as hard as me. He's going to be one step ahead of me, and I don't want that. So, yeah, I'm motivated. I'm passionate about this sport. I love it. I don't know why. You just have to, as I told you before, you have to be sick in the head to love something.
Man. Bro, you seem like you really like it. There's a photo that UAE Warriors posted when you won the title. So this is your...
I'm surprised they're posting photos of me.
Yeah. Or when you won.
Yeah.
And it was like a photo of you with sunglasses, and like just chilling, relaxed, having a good time. How did that feel?
Yeah, that was on my first UAE Warriors fight.
Yeah.
It was mad. It was awesome. It was really good. Had a big Lebanese community supporting and backing me as well.
Oh yeah.
It was mad. And just hearing them chanting and yelling across. I couldn't hear my own coach in the corner. All I could hear was them just going, "Togo, Togo." And they were just cheering. They had the drums and everything. And yeah, for 3 rounds, 15 minutes, it really just kept pushing me, and just I wanted to do it for them. Well, I was in the moment, right? I wanted to do it for them because you can't lose in front of such a big crowd and such a big Lebanese community that were there. And then after that, I won, right? And it was just such a good feeling. I got to hang out with all the community afterwards, and just getting to meet people. They were all taking photos, and it's not like that here in Australia. In Australia, no one gives a shit about you. Over there, it's different. They really look after you. They really care about you. Look, Australia, and the reason why I say that, because in Australia, there's really 2, possibly 3 main sports that everyone follows. There's rugby league, AFL, and boxing. The MMA world is growing, but everyone only knows UFC. They don't know the regional promotions, and they don't know the other promotions on the international platform. So what I mean by that is, the NRL, the AFL always get a bigger following, and even in those lower leagues of NRL and AFL, you got the New South Wales Cup, you got the Victorian League, they still get big followings, right? So right now, even myself, I'm still in that league just below the UFC, but no one really follows it unless you are overseas on an international platform, like in Asia or in the UAE, over in the United Kingdom, or even in America and those other platforms over there. Yeah. Massive followings. In Australia, you don't get that here unless you're in the UFC.
Yeah. That's so surprising to me, especially Because when I texted you on your way here, I'm like, do you mind getting your belts with you? And you're like, bro, it's too heavy. How many belts do you have?
5. I got 4 Australian titles and 1 world title.
1 world title.
Yeah.
Man, that's some recognition. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd think so, but as I said, no one gives a shit about it unless it's a UFC title. Yeah. But it's, as I said, it's a growing sport. It's only getting bigger here in Australia. A lot more people are following the regional circuit. So, yeah, I think just in due time, you will get a lot more supporters in that regional scene. So and it's good for the up and comers too. Show them a lot of support along the way. Even a fighter from Tasmania, Victoria. He recently, last year, he won PFL. All right, it's an American promotion. He won the middleweight championship or light heavyweight championship. It was a tournament, $1 million prize. And you go on his Instagram, he's only got like 12 or 15k followers. This guy's a world champ in a different promotion, and he won $1 million. Honestly, there was recognition for it, but because he wasn't on that UFC platform, it's not as big. Does that make sense?
Completely.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a growing sport in Australia. But just if you go overseas in the UAE and United Kingdom, even in Asia, 1FC, you get off the plane, they're all coming up, taking photos with you, getting signatures, hanging out with you, all those types of things. They're here in Australia. You hop off the plane, no one gives a fuck about you. Sorry, can I swear?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Is UFC next?
100% it is. That's the goal. It's always been the goal. It's the vision. Coming here in September, I want to get on that 293 card. I don't care how I'll get on it. I will get on it. I'll do everything possible to get on it. Whether it's a pullout, whether I get a contract signed prior within the next couple of weeks, I'll do everything possible to get on that card. There's a guy I've been calling out, and I'm calling him out. I'm a lightweight, right? And he's a welterweight. I've been calling him out on my socials. He hasn't responded. I know people have been telling him, oh yeah, Josh has been calling you out. I don't know what his reaction. He'd probably go, who the hell is that guy? Blah, blah, blah. He hasn't responded to anything, right? He's who I want to fight. But I don't know, because he's fought in UFC, but I don't know if he's been cut yet or if he's got one more fight. However it is for him, but I want to fight him. I would love to absolutely put on a show in front of Sydney in September against him.
Who is this?
Blood Diamond.
Blood Diamond.
Yeah. And if it ain't Blood Diamond, anyone. I don't care. I'm number one for a reason. I need to showcase my skills on the world platform, on the world scene. People need to see who I am, who I'm about. You know, this regional circuit, they don't want to, anyone in my division don't want to fight me. They really don't. And then they try and water it down, the reasons why they don't want to fight. Just honestly, say you're scared. I don't give a fuck. I'd rather you be honest than just trying to have other reasons why you don't want to fight. Like, I've fought at lightweight. I've fought at welterweight. I've taken fights on a week's notice, on 3 days' notice. You know, I've fought on an international platform. I'm actually undefeated as a welterweight. I haven't been beaten as a welterweight. And I'm here calling out at welterweight. I don't know what his reaction is, but every time I do a post, he hasn't responded. So, yeah.
And if there's one person who's going to do this, it's you.
100%.
Let's do it.
Yeah, look, I'll start calling out everyone on my socials if I have to. I don't give a fuck, man. I just want to fight. I'll fight anyone. Yeah, that's just always been my mentality.
You do it for the sport.
Yeah. Sorry for my language. I keep swearing. I shouldn't be swearing.
Come on.
I'm getting heated in the moment. I'll fight anyone. Come on, hurry up. Next minute, I'm flipping this round table and stuff. Yeah.
I was watching your UAE fight, the recent one, and like
You're actually watching it.
yeah.
Oh, how did you find it?
Somewhere.
Hey?
And there was this moment, like, where you got kneed in the head, and like you wobbled a bit, and it was like as if you were looking out to heaven, and you just stood there, and as your opponent was coming, I think it was Abdullah,
Yeah, Tihi, yeah.
and as he was like storming towards you, just switched into animal mode, and you just like went towards him and gave him a hook.
Yeah.
What happened there?
He kneed me in the head, and there was actually a clock.
Yeah.
Even though, and I'll be honest with you, I was dazed for a little bit because I did sort of feel the knee, but I looked up the clock just to see how much time was left because I knew I was ahead on the scorecards and I knew I was in front. And I looked up at the clock and I seen the time, and it said something. I think it was around 50-something seconds. And in my head, I was just telling myself, just keep pushing, keep moving, stay light on your feet. And that was after the knee. And then he come forward and I was just doing everything to survive because I knew I was winning. I knew I was in front. He kept coming. He was throwing everything. I was telling myself, all I was just trying to do was just tying him up, getting him in a wrestle. Because in a wrestle, they can't throw big haymakers, big bombs. They can't land anything.
Yeah.
So I was just trying to grab him. That's all I wanted to do. I think I was running around the cage trying to get away from him. And I was still striking at the same time. I was throwing everything because every time he threw, I had to throw back. Yeah, so I throw back, and then he throws this elbow and falls me off my feet, and I stand back up, and he throws this hook, and I kind of grab him, and he grabs me, and then in my head straight away, I was like, yes, I got him. And then he took me down, and then as soon as he took me down, I see his leg, I grabbed his leg, and I stood up and reversed him up against the cage. And at that moment, just then, I thought to myself, I've won. And then everything else was a bonus. I took him down, got his back. There was about 10 seconds to go. A couple more strikes just to even solidify it even more. Yeah, bell goes, hands go up. I knew straight away I won. My coach at the time, he goes, we don't know because they could rob us. But I had no doubt in my head that I didn't win. I definitely won straight away. You can even see in that video when the announcer he was calling out the numbers, and straight away when I think he said 49, 46, 49, 46, 48, 47 straight away. When he said 49, 46, 49, 46, I knew straight away I won. Yep. You see me smiling. So yeah, it was honestly one of the best feelings of my life, and just winning a title on an international platform such as UAE's big platform over there. Amazing. It was the best feeling of my life. You see me and my coach literally hug each other because he was happy just as I was. It was honestly, amazing.
And when I saw the difference between when you got kneed to like the whole circle, the whole journey you took, and like persevering through that to finish off strong, man, that just showed grit.
Yeah, I even said it in one of my posts on Instagram. It was the last minute and a half of my life. It was the biggest minute and a half of my life, and that was leading into that knee. But you got to remember, you're going for 25 minutes of fighting is taxing, is draining, you're fatiguing physically and mentally. But you got to and the whole time, I just kept mentally telling myself, just keep moving, just stay light on your feet, just circle. That's all I kept telling myself, and everything else would just follow through as well. It will just flow naturally, and it did. But yeah, 25 minutes of fighting is not easy. But yeah, as long as you just stay focused and just stick to what you're doing in there, and just reiterating those messages in your head. I mean, you only got split seconds of time to actually think, because everything's based on reaction. Yeah, by those split seconds, you should be telling yourself what your goal is, what you're you're going to achieve in this moment. So for me, it was just stay light on your feet, keep moving, keep circling. That was it.
Yeah. Viktor Frankl, he has a quote along the lines of, there is a space between stimulus and response. So what happens to you and how you react to it. And in that space lies your freedom and what you choose to do with it. And in that space that you've been given, you just chose to keep pushing forward. There's so much to take from that for day-to-day life. I honor that.
It's a nice quote. I actually like that. That's actually really nice.
I'll pass it over.
Yeah, send it to me. That was really, really nice. That's actually really...
Guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
What the heck does that mean?
I don't know. Where did it come from?
Yeah.
Far out. So, me and my cousin, when we were growing up, we had this thing for gorillas. Because in my head, I always told myself, the gorilla is the real king of the jungle.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about this whole lion thing. The gorilla...
we agree to disagree on that.
I don't know. I just really believe the gorilla is the real king of the jungle.
Okay.
That I just think that, yeah, he's the heavyweight champ. No, but yeah, we just had this thing when we were growing up, and we're just telling ourselves, one day we'll get gorilla tattoos, and then I went through with it. I actually fell through with it and got a big gorilla tattoo on my stomach, and then I was waiting for him, and yeah, he never got it. But and then I moved to Sydney, and then yeah, I started getting into training and fighting, and I had to find a fight name because prior to your first amateur fight, you always think of a fight name. You got to think of a fight name. Everyone has to have it. There's no person that can't sit there and tell me that they've never ever thought of a fight name leading into a fight. So I kept telling myself, what am I going to call myself? And then I was looking at my body, and I seen the gorilla. I was like, the gorilla. And then I was thinking, it's pretty basic. It's too conventional. It's common. Everyone has it. Then I was thinking, what about warfare? Guerrilla warfare. I mean, it's different. It's guerrilla warfare. The real term behind it is different to my guerrilla warfare, because my guerrilla warfare is spelled as a Gorilla.
The animal.
Yeah. So I thought, you know what? Actually, it has a good tone to it. Why not just go with it? Let's just flow with it. Let's stick with it. So, yeah, I went and got warfare written under the gorilla, and then I just got stuck with guerrilla warfare.
All right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I thought of it myself, and yeah, it's been like that since. But yeah, I just... It was funny because I full got the gorilla way before I even got into fighting. Yeah. No, sorry. Actually, that's a lie. I had my first amateur fight, and then I got the gorilla. Yeah. But I didn't, out of context, there was no thought sort of even wanting to have guerrilla warfare or gorilla into the name.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, lucky that made its way.
I didn't remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I was watching a video recently, and it went viral, and I'm like, what the hell does this mean?
Went viral.
And it's uckitsay for the ackbay.
Did it go viral? Yeah, it did too.
Yeah.
One of the big...
What does that mean?
Suck it from the back.
Suck it from the back.
Yeah.
Why do you say that?
You know why? Because leading to that fight in UAE, there's a page on the internet. It's called Topology. That's where all the fighters' names and their records and who they're fighting, matches, and it even has what do you call it? What would you say? Stats on who's going to win versus when you're matched up. It has
ranking,
a graph or a tally of votes, and people vote on who will win, who will lose, how they'll win, submission, knockout, decision, however. And when I fought in UAE, and I look back on the topology page, and people voted me 4% chance of winning. And they voted this other guy 96% chance of winning. Yeah. And look, don't get me wrong, I understand why, because to here, he had it was 14 wins and 1 loss at the time, and all these wins was off his first and second round knockout, and the submissions in there too. So statistically, he looked better on paper, right? But I always knew, I never doubted myself I was never going to lose. I was always going to win that fight. I told myself the whole time. I knew I was going to win. The way we train is very different to the way they train over there in Russia. I know what they're like. I've trained with them over in Thailand. They're very basic fighters. Just because he's got highlight reels and a lot of knockouts doesn't mean he's going to always win. You know, it's having a fight IQ is what's going to help you win. He didn't have a fight IQ. We've looked over his fights, my coach and I, and as we're looking over, you could just see it's just very basic. He's just always looking for the one punch knockout. And the guys he was fighting, same thing. There was no fight IQ behind it. So I think it was the second last day before the fight. I told my coach, I go, after we win, I'm going to tell everyone they can all suck it from the back. And he laughed. He goes, bro, you got to do that. That'll be the best thing ever. We'll go viral. I'm like, I don't know if we'll go viral, but let's just do it anyways. But then I thought, I can't say suck it from the back, not in the UAE, because it's a very respectful country. And I don't want to, look like the bad guy saying something like that in front of all these Muslims, and I want to be say it the most respectful way possible. So I go, okay, well, I'll say it in Pig Latin because they won't understand it. But over here, everyone will understand it. So after I won the fight, got the belt, I told everyone that doubted me and didn't think I'd win, they can all uckitsay from the ackbay. And then there was a few. I think it was strictly for the culture. There was a few pages.
All right.
They got a hold of it and seen it, and they all shared it and kind of went viral from that. It was pretty good.
Is it a thing now?
Yeah, 100%. I'm trademarking that. Fucking no.
On the All-Star and topology, I was having a look at it, and they say that you're actually Lebanese. I got a bit excited about that because I'm also.
I thought I told you I was Lebanese.
You told me?
Yeah.
Were you full, half? Half.
My dad's side.
Dad's side.
Yeah.
How was that like growing up?
Well, I didn't grow up on my Lebanese side, so I don't really have anything to sort of give you an answer for. Because I guess that's part of the hardship and of my childhood growing up. I just didn't really grow up on my Lebanese side. I'm still finding out more along the way. Met him probably only 10 years ago for the first time. But in saying that, I'm still proud of my Lebanese heritage as well. I think with the topology, my coach changed it over to put the Lebanon flag because it looks better when we go fight over in UAE. So but that's on my Lebanese side, on my dad's side.
Right.
But as I said, I just never grew up on that side.
Your family basically were fighting to survive growing up, and that's a common theme that's happened like from your childhood. What did that look like?
Tough. Tough is probably the best way I could say it, because as a child, I'd seen a lot, been through a lot. We were very unstable, just used to move around a lot. I spent a lot more time outside of schools than I did going to schools. Just a lot of drugs, a lot of crime, a lot of underground people were involved in I guess I would say my family affairs. At that time, there was times when we were actually living out on the street or finding somewhere to live. We've lived in refuges as kids growing up, my brother and So yeah, it was definitely tough. It was hard. You learn a lot too at a young age. You see a lot. So by the time I was 11, yeah, I seen a lot that made me sort of grow up a lot more faster and a lot of other 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds. But by that time, I was living with my aunt up in Tweed Heads because I just got sick of moving around. All I wanted to do was go to school. That's all I wanted to do. It was just finish a year in school. I mean, I used to go to all these different schools and I was there for a month or 2 months and we'd move straight away. And I hated that. I actually used to cry going to a new school as a kid. Because yeah, it's not a childhood anyone should go through.
Yeah.
So yeah, by the time I was 11, 12, I asked if I could stay here with my aunt up in Tweed Heads. And I was living with her right up until I was about 19, 20. And then that's when I moved to Sydney. But yeah, during my teenage phase, because I seen a lot growing up as well, I got accustomed to it and started, I guess, yeah, doing a lot of bad things and getting mixed in as well with a lot of bad people as well during that time as well. So yeah, it's something I don't really like about myself, but at the same time, I don't regret anything because everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't be here today if a lot of things didn't happen in my past during those times. So yeah, everything happens for a reason, from my childhood to my teenagehood and to my adulthood. Yeah, it's nothing to be proud of, but I am happy with the outcome of it.
It's made you who you are.
Yeah, 100%.
You mentioned how you moved in with your auntie. What was the reason behind that decision?
I just wanted to go to school and finish school. I just wanted security. I just wanted stability. I just wanted to live as a child, as a teenager should. And she lived up in Tweed Heads, and I was just living with her. And it was awesome. I loved it.
Yeah.
In my early teenagehood, I mean, I grew up surfing and skating and going to school and hanging out with your mates, all that type of behaviour, all that type of stuff. So I really enjoyed that. And I guess there was a stage and there was a period where I started smoking weed and started drinking a lot, and that's when I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. But with my auntie, she was really good. She was so loving. She was caring. She used to always lecture me, always provide for me, and yeah, just be there for me. And I don't like saying this, but I will say it. I always have classified as my auntie as my real mother than my real mother. And I don't want to say that, but I will say that because, yeah, she was the one that really raised me. And then there was other people in my life as well. Because my auntie passed away when I was 19. But prior to her passing away, I met my other family. I call them my white family. They took me in as well. I was doing... What was I doing? Apprenticeship, tiling. Right. Yeah, and I met this guy I was doing my apprenticeship with. And on our lunch breaks, we used to go back to his and have lunch and all that stuff because we only used to work around the corner at times. And I met his wife, I met the kids and stuff, and then basically from that day onwards, I just became furniture. Now I'm part of the family. So yeah, they took me in as well and really looked after me and cared for me as well. And that was later on in my teenage life. But yeah, I've had some amazing people as well help me along my way and in my journey. Yeah. And yeah, if there's one thing I can say, it's just thank you to those people.
Yeah. Are these the beavers?
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Wow, right, you must have scrolled right down to the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, that's them. Yeah, my white family and my auntie and my other auntie's daughter, my auntie as well. Yeah, they're my three mothers I really care about and I really want to say thank you to because they're the ones that have really sort of shaped a more positive life for me. And that's through all the lectures and that I had to be given along the way, and through all the hardship and the things they taught me. It could be simple things: cooking, cleaning, mowing the lawns, things like that. Working. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important to have the right people around you. I realized in my life, like, no matter how big the achievement was that I was going towards, if there wasn't someone strong in my corner to back me when I was at my lowest, I don't think it would be very possible to have gone where I have gotten to. I realized that there's a lot of photos and a lot of like love that you give to your missus on Insta as well. How has that contributed to your success?
She's always just been there for me. We met back in 2019, start of 2019. And that was at the period of that was after my 3 losses we met. But
Perfect timing.
yeah, her backing, her being there for me, supporting me along the way, and just even with simple things, nutrition, always looking after me with food, cooking, checking in on me, making sure I get the rest I need. Yeah, she's always been supportive. Comes to the shows when I'm fighting in Australia. Yeah, she's one of my big supporters. She's my number 1 supporter. So yeah, she's awesome. I love her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then yeah, we do a lot of things together, and we go overseas, and yeah, she's always just been there for me from the beginning. Yeah.
Can you recall a time where you were at like that moment where you really needed support and she showed that? Were you ever at a time where you were at rock bottom and she showed up for you?
Yeah, of course. She's always been there for me. I can't really think of a period of when I've been at rock bottom, because I've always been very level-headed. I've always just kept a strong front with myself. So it's very rare for me to really have a down period. But whenever I have, she's always been there for me. Right. And yeah, just taking care of me and looking after me.
It's more like rock top.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. I've seen in a few of your posts, you have guerrilla warfare, but like you also have guerrilla welfare.
I don't know why.
Where's the guerrilla welfare coming from?
That's what I'm not fighting. I just become poverty and just have no money. No, I'm joking. I don't know. It was just a thing. Just made it up. When I'm not fighting, it's guerrilla warfare. When I am fighting, it's guerrilla warfare. For some reason, I think someone just said it one day and it stuck with me. Yeah. So, yeah. Guerrilla warfare.
Man.
Because I got a job, work full time and stuff like that. So, but I just say it because when you're not fighting, you're basically just back to everyday living.
Yeah.
I've had fights and I've come out of the fights and I've hopped off the plane and I'm just going to myself, what do I do now? I've just become so lost. Because there's nothing to really push for, nothing to work for. Just, what do I do with my life? And I don't want to become this mediocre person. So, I'll just go, you know what? It's my guerrilla warfare life. Let's just go into guerrilla warfare mode.
Man, about your job, like, when I first heard about guerrilla warfare, like, you are a mental health first aid instructor. So I'm like, wait, surely that's why, right? Yeah. Does that align?
Nah, it doesn't align at all. I got 2 different jobs. I got my full-time job and then I have my fighting job.
Yeah.
So, but look, my fighting career will only take me so far. I will get older and I will age and I won't be there for the rest of my life. So, I do have my other job that I work full-time and that's going to be with me forever.
Yeah. Your full-time job, tribal warrior. You're director of culture, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The team leader for our youth mentoring program.
Youth mentoring. Man, I've worked with you around this, but not specifically with the mentoring and the work you do, bro. It's awesome. And like I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if I was a young guy and this random bloke comes in who's like a world title champ and tells me to do something, I'm fucking doing it. I'm not gonna say no. And I'm assuming like that power that you have, that responsibility you have, like you're considerate of that, and like you're using it in the right way.
Yeah.
What does that like look like with the day-to-day mentoring with these guys?
Yeah, I don't even know how to say it, but I do see that fighting does give the young kids in community a bit of sense of direction.
Yeah.
And they give, because I fight and I train and I compete and I've stuck with it for so long, and I do see the young kids and I see the way they look at it, and they feel safe. They feel safe around me. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And I can sense it. I can actually feel that from them. They feel safe. But at the same time, they know that if I say something, they have to do it. Might not happen straight away, but if I say it second, third time, they know that this is part of the requirements of what he's saying. Let's just do it. And that goes with anything. So I know that the young kids, they look up to it, and they look up. I don't want to say, but I hope so. But I think they look up to me as a fighter, and I want to sort of give them that lens as well. Give them a lens where they can go, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too. If he can get up early hours in the morning to come boxing training in the program, I can do it too. If he can eat good, I can do it too. If he can go training in the afternoons, I can do it too. So giving them that type of belief and that empowerment and that motivation. And look, I might not even say it to them, but just me being there, they will see that. It's more of a presence thing. They'll see that and they'll tell themselves, I can do it. So yeah, sometimes the message doesn't have to be said, just shown.
What was the initial conversation that made this happen? Like you mentoring the youth in the Indigenous community. What was that conversation?
What conversation?
How did it happen? The conversation that
conversation? I don't know which conversation. There's heaps of conversations.
How did you get into it?
How did I get into
the youth mentoring?
When I was growing up, my auntie, because she took me in and looked after me, right? And she did a lot of good things for a lot of people when I was up in Tweed.
Yeah.
And every Friday night, she would cook for the homeless. We used to go down the park and feed the homeless. And she was just always finding a way to give back. She never got paid for it. She used to just do it. She would just go to Woolworths, buy a whole lot of food. She'd sit there Thursday night, cooking it. Friday, we'll go to the park and just feed the homeless. There was no money involved. There was no nothing. And when we used to do that every Friday, you have the conversations with the people. You're like, wow, some of these people go for a lot of things. After that, she was still helping. She was always helping people. I mean, she helped me. She took me in. And she was just always giving back to people. Never wanted anything in return. But just seeing that from her made me want to do something for myself. Made me want to give back to people. Made me want to look after people. And it doesn't matter how young, how old. I just wanted to give back because she did it out of her own goodwill. She did it out of her own good heart. And I wanted to do that too. So I moved to Sydney. I get back into work. I get back into training. I was doing my Cert 3, Cert 4 in fitness. And during this time, I was actually working at the NCIE. And this is where Tribal Warrior works out of, the program. But prior to me working at Tribal Warrior, I was working as a PT. And the CEO, Uncle Shane Phillips, he always used to ask me to come in and volunteer to come into the boxing program. And I couldn't, because the hours of the boxing program used to mix in the hours where my working times, because it was 6 in the morning, 6 to 7. That's kind of peak hour when you're doing PTs. So when you're doing PTs, 6 to 7, I mean, you got to make bread to live, right? So I had to make money. And then just the opportunity was given to me. I think during that time, I had 2 people ask me, or they asked me. They asked me if I wanted to apply. So I applied for the role just as a mentor. I think it was a part-time mentor. And I guess from that day onwards, I got the position. And I got to work with the community here in Redfern. And just from that day onwards, I've just grown into more of a senior role, into the team leader. So it's been a really good journey. I love working with the community. I love working under Tribe Warrior. I just want to continuously help and give back to the young kids, and just give them the opportunities that we never had as kids growing up. And those opportunities could be things as taking them away on camps. And the other week during school, we took them to paintball, going to the beach, doing barbecues, just hanging out with them, things like that. In my childhood as a kid growing up, we didn't have those type of opportunities. I didn't even have a mentor. I had my auntie and my other mums and stuff like that, but we just didn't have those opportunities. No male role models. So for the young boys in the community, they get the opportunity to have some male role models in their lives. And honestly, it's one of the best jobs that I love doing. It really is. And I love just giving back to them. And I love just doing things with the young boys and taking them away. Taking them, to do all fun things. And hopefully when they get older, they probably don't appreciate it now, but as they get older and mature, and they'll learn, hopefully they see that and they'll appreciate that.
Yeah. That's honorable. The work we do with Reunited is, in essence, like providing male role models, because it's just so needed to have that masculine figure in your life who can guide you, and especially as a young person who's just so vulnerable to like anything that comes their way. Man, do you ever see yourself like talking to almost like your past self when you mentor these guys?
Yeah. 100%. But the difference is because I didn't have a father when I was growing up. And a lot of these kids, they don't have fathers growing up. And they do, but sometimes they're not in the best physical and mental state of mind, right? So I guess, when I'm working with some of the young boys and I'm talking to them, I would talk to them the way I would probably talk to myself as if I was younger, or the way my auntie would talk to me, or the way I'd imagine it the way my father would talk to me. Because I mean, you see, it's just, you got to show tough love. You got to give tough love. I mean, tough love is a beauty, and it's something that the kids will appreciate when they're growing up. Because my auntie gave me tough love. She had to play the mother and the father role, and that tough love definitely helped me growing up, and I apply that with the young kids I'm working with today. You gotta love them, but you gotta be tough about it too. And that's why we call it tough love. And it's giving them direction, giving them order, but also at the same time, letting them know that we're here for them. They can come talk to me whenever they want. Reach out to me. I mean, we're in a phase now where we've got social media. So much more simpler when it comes to reaching out. We have all these different programs and even men making men vulnerable, and seeing a lot more other programs that do make men vulnerable. And sometimes simple things. And I've seen these workshops where sometimes it's good to cry. And then you let it out, you cry, and you just throw this whole lot of weight off your shoulder.
Yeah.
And I'm learning as well. I'm learning in this job. I'm learning in this role. And the more I see things like this, the more I want to apply it to these young kids. Yeah. Because it's a different dynamic from when we were growing up. I say tough love, but sometimes these young kids, it's a different type of love you got to give them, because they're a lot more, I guess, diligent in a way. Because it's hard to say, but where I'm going with this is that I feel that as a society we're making men weaker, and I don't want to make our men weaker, but at the same time I got to make sure that we, I guess, talk to them in a more appropriate way. And if we can do it this way, then we can build on those relationships. We can make a better connection with the young kids in community. Yeah. Does it make sense?
100%. I mean, when you talked about allowing men to be vulnerable and share that space, we have something where it's like, it actually takes courage to be vulnerable and trust someone with your authentic self. And that in itself is a strength. That is making men strong. And the only weakness in that regard is saying, no, I don't need help, or no, I'm not going to share, or no, I'm not going to tell you what's up with me, even though I trust you, because I'm better than you, or I'm better than that. And it's funny because we're human, and saying that you're better than human is it is a weakness. And to see that is really important, and to feel that is a different story. Like, to feel that weight lifted off your shoulder, the way you talked about it, it makes you might have the same strength, but the fact that the weight is lifted off your shoulder, you can now use that strength somewhere else. You can now use it to help someone else, to get out of your own head, to be able to provide to society, to the community, to work on the goals that you might want to set. Whatever you want, you can start working on that want. And I think that's where the magic lies. And the fact that you're like, everyone's learning. Like, I'm learning, you're learning, we're getting there.
It's really good. I think in today's society, we just got to keep encouraging and supporting our young men, especially the ones I work with, the young boys. They don't have positive male role models in their lives. So myself and our other male mentors, they are the role models in community, and that's the giving these young men in community leadership. So they got the people that they can reach out to and talk to at times when they're in a downfall period, because they're young kids and they're at homes where they don't have fathers around. So as a young kid, they're learning to become their own men. They're learning to become their own man, right? So in that sense, they can be misled they can be misled when they're hanging around the wrong crowd. So we got to make sure that we're showing them that we're the right crowd to be around. We're the male role models that you need to reach out to, need to talk to at times. We can grow that. We can give them the skills and the life experience that we've gone through, and it gives them that hope and that belief. And back to our saying, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah. Something I absolutely love with that, like, there's a bit of a dichotomy. It's like you start the day with just beating the bag, like going hard out. You like the routine set, the discipline's there. Oh, I don't want to do this, but fucking get up there and just do it. And like, you're boxing, and like, you're the role model. You're smashing people's head in, for like what you do for competition. But then the dichotomy happens where when that's over and you're done with the hard shit, the really, really tough stuff, then there comes the part where like you're sharing openly, and you're like connecting on a very safe, vulnerably safe level. That balance, to me, the ability to balance that is honestly what makes a man. And for me, the maturity is being able to do both effectively. Because ultimately, that's what allows a man who is successful to also connect with family, also connect with a loved one, also connect with the community, and open his heart to the world, whilst also being strong enough to hold his ground. And I think you get that.
That's mad. 100%. 100%. Because it's when you said it like that, you gotta have that balance.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be a mentor and provide my knowledge to these young kids, and then go home and become lazy, eat takeaway, go to bed, wake up late, and then come back and teach these kids the same life skills that I've. Yeah, it's okay. You'll be right. No worries. Let's go have a chat, and we'll sort it out. Yeah. And then what am I going to teach them? I'll go home again and I'll eat takeaway that night and go to bed late and wake up late. Things like that. I mean, what am I really teaching them? That's not balance. That's just me being inefficient with myself. Yeah. That's just me becoming lazy. And then I'm teaching them to become lazy. So you gotta, it's a very important message. I mean, having that balance. If I'm going out and I'm smashed, I'm taking kids with me to the gym. They see me train hard, and then they want to work hard and train hard. Yeah, but then at the same time, I break away and I still work with them. I mean, there was an incident the other week, and this actually involved my family members from the community, where there was a bit of a fight between one side and the other side, my family side, right? I can't go out into the community and pick sides in my role. And this is what people got to understand. I'm not just a male role model, but I'm a team leader in my job, and I have to go out there and make sure that this side and this side obviously don't fight, but I have to also be there equally. I can't just pick sides and be there for this side and think that I'm going to attack this side. And then it just becomes a bit of a fight in itself. Man, I'm trying to do is dissolve the situation. That's all I want to do. And when I do talk to this side, I still let them know that I'm still here for them. Use them my family just as much as they are my family. The whole community here in Redfern is my family. Yeah, so any kind of situation like this, I have to be there. I have to have that balance between the war of my family fights and the other side's family fights. Yeah, so I can't go out there and start fighting and punching on and getting aggro and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, picking sides and stuff. It gets nowhere. I mean, it only creates more heat, more fire. I mean, if I pick this side, then what happens on this side? They're going to get angry. And then if they get angry, they get angry. It gets nowhere. There has to be someone in the community that has to dissolve this situation. Yeah. Because if it doesn't, then it's only going to make matters worse.
I recently researched a brief history of mankind, like humans, Homo sapiens. And the times or the revolutions, the evolutions that happened, which allowed us as a species, humans, to just advance, just skyrocket, are the ones that allowed us to connect better. Whenever, for example, religion was one of the first ones where finally humans could connect to the same values. So they stopped like eating each other up or killing each other. Yeah. Then there was like multiple things that allowed people to work simultaneously together. And then the internet came along, and the internet allowed like everyone in the whole world to connect to each other. And the rate of advancement of the human species, it just keeps going faster and faster and faster. As if like connection is what catalyzes, what allows humans to just get better and to self-actualize. Well, what I just saw there was like our motto in Reunited is connecting with honor. Because we know that if we can connect with honor, people get better together. And it's funny because you're a fighter and you understand the value of fighting for what you want. I think a lot of the issues that a lot of humans, a lot of people, a lot of young men are facing now is they're fighting the wrong battle. They're fighting against their fellow human instead of fighting against their own mental state and against the things that prevent them from connecting with their fellow human. What do you think with that? Like fighting the right battle, can you see in your mentoring?
I see that when we're working with young, vulnerable kids in the community, I mean, they're still growing. They're still growing to become more adults, right? I don't even think they know what they're fighting for. Whereas when we're mentoring, we're giving them a reason, we're giving them hope and opportunity that as they get older, they'll have the reasons they'll have battles that they're going to face, but we want to get them to overcome certain battles in their lives. I guess as a fighter, for myself, you have to learn to overcome adversity at times. And it's up to you how you're going to overcome adversity. And this is the life skills, and this is what I teach some of the young kids. Because they're going to have battles in the community. They're going to have fights in the community. They're going to have issues in the community. And I can't be with them every step of the way. The other team of the other mentors, they can't always be there as well. Yeah, but our conversations previously, I'm hoping that you can overcome adversity on your own without us around. And that's what becoming a man is all about, especially for those young kids. We've had a lot of discussions. We've had a lot of these conversations before. It's up to you to face this on your own, on how you're going to deal with it yourself. And however you deal with it yourself is what's going to shape you into becoming a man and living and learning from it and moving on. There's kids in our community, even families in our community, constantly fighting. And fighting what? We're fighting each other. Black versus black. And I hate to say it, but this is what the white people want. I shouldn't say it like that, but you're giving more reason to our Western world to look more further down on us. And we just got to learn as a black community, we got to build further than that. We got to build up. It's all about strength for us. We need to work together. We need to connect. We need to strengthen our community, strengthen our people. And we do this through our conversations. We do this through our training programs. We do this through our boxing programs, afternoon programs. We got to continually make our people strong.
Yeah. And I see
the
that.
more we do that, we do that through connection. We got to continuously connect with each other. Yeah, because there's bigger battles out in the world than just in our community, and we need people to see that in our community.
I've seen it in person, and it is inspiring to see. It's funny what happens when someone thinks that they're in a battle, and then they make the realization, oh, these people are actually my people. And then the whole life changes from there. Yeah. One of the areas that I've seen that happen was in the CSWP boxing circle. That gets you guys gather around, and you go, and then you call someone out, and you're like, I'll call someone in, and you're like, what does safety mean to you? What does respect mean to you? I've never heard you answer those questions.
You like put me on the spot, eh?
What does... I mean, look, if you're going to lead by example, what does discipline mean to you?
Discipline, what does it mean to me? Far out. I've never really had an answer to that, but honestly, it's just... that's a tough one. You put me on the spot.
I'll put you on the spot.
For me, it's hard work and just never give up and just to believe in yourself. From the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. Just focused and having a vision. And whatever that vision is, just maintaining focus for it. Yeah, because there's times in our lives where we have visions and it could be for a week or a month, 6 months, and then we lose focus. Yeah, we've got to stay focused for it. That's what discipline means to me.
The hard work we do here today replicates the discipline and the routine we carry through the days, the weeks, the months, and the years. And I love this. I love it when you say this. If this is the hardest thing we do today, you're going to have a good day. And you say that after everyone has to wake up at 6 a.m. in the early cold fucking morning to box.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our pledge. It's our message to the community, and it's a reminder that we do this we do this every day. This is discipline. This is what discipline goes back down to. Whether it's the training, or whether it's the messages we say after training, that's what discipline is, right? But we got to do it for ourselves and for our community. Yeah, because no one else out there is going to do it for us. So we got to continuously build strength in our people, in our community, and give them a reason to get up at 5 or 6 in the morning. They come train and work hard and meet people and have conversations with people. And I promise you, at the end of it all, you are going to have a good day. You'll go home, you'll have a shower, and you'll get ready for your day. Go to work, go to school, whatever it is. You'll feel a lot more better for it. People won't see it straight away, especially for the kids because they're still learning. But as they get older, they'll appreciate it and they'll look back and go, wow, I'm so glad I did that. Yeah. And we've had really good success out of it. I've seen a lot of kids in our program. I've seen a young boy actually, always caught up in the criminal justice system. Went to juvie, doing a lot of bad things. He made a change. We kept coming to boxing, and there was days where he didn't come to boxing, and we'd try and wake him up. And he wouldn't get up, and still just doing our one-on-one mentoring with him, hanging out with him, taking him to football, whatever it is. This kid went to uni, right? And it's funny because we have a lot of people in the community, and especially young kids as they get older, they go on to work, things like that, and work full time. But this kid went to uni, and this kid was caught up in the criminal justice system, and I just never would have thought he would have went to uni. That's what we want. We want to see our people pushing, and we want to see our people keep growing and pushing further and beyond those other opportunities out there, knowing that there are opportunities and other successes out there. Don't have to go to school and go work full time or get an apprenticeship. There are those opportunities. Go to uni or study, get a degree. And that trajectory is happening. We're getting a higher success rate with our people going to university, even finishing year 12. That's a big achievement in itself. When I finished year 12, right? And I think there was only about 5 Aboriginal kids finishing in year 12 in our school. Now, those numbers have multiplied all across high schools. Yeah, and they're going to continually keep multiplying and keep growing and going to university and getting a degree. But, in that sense, this is what the Western world don't highlight. They only highlight all the negative things that happen in communities. And there's a reason. My reason why they highlight those things is they can continually make our mental state weaker. So we can keep disbelieving in ourselves and keep not having hope for ourselves. That's why we have our morning boxing program, so we can continuously build on our people, make them stronger, make them focus, give them a reason to why to get out of bed in the morning. And we have our afternoon programs in the community, same thing. They got the same purpose. Yeah, so there's a big aspect to it, but yeah, I'm sorry. Sometimes I go off in a tangent. I get too deep in thought.
It's important, man.
Yeah.
Josh, you're a beacon of light, and it's not just to the Indigenous community. Like, man, I can see it, and I only hope for the best in what you do, and I actually can't wait to see where this goes. It's a pleasure to have you on this podcast.
Oh, is that it?
Is that it? We can keep talking.
Yeah. No, thank you. It's been awesome coming in and having a chat.
Of course.
Next time I'll bring more belts. I'll bring all of them.
We'll get all of them, the heavy belts.